Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our networks here in Southern California. That gentleman out there is.
Hi everyone, I'm Felipe and I'm in the UK.
Yeah, Felipe Herida. He's our UK correspondent. Right now, you're on my screen. You're a little bit frozen, but there you're back. Thank you. Felipe and we're getting more and more traction in the UK, and he's our taster at large there. We have been very fortunate because we have a load of really interesting stuff that he and I are going to dissect. Our first one tonight is local, or local, for those of you who are local. This is a mezcal, and it is one that I have not seen widely in the United States. I don't know if it's starting to get widely noticed in the UK and in Europe. First of all, I have to give props and thanks to Dr. Sowers. Dr. Sowers, we reached out to them. I guess they're based in the UK. They're a bitters company. They export. They're based they're based in Mexico, but they have an office. They export into the UK, and they made this happen for us. Okay, so first of all, I want to thank those folks for just moving heaven and earth, getting this to Felipe in the UK and getting this to me here in the US. We're going to try this right now. I'm going to use my Stasso Jarrito, which I know I've been promising you a couple of days. I'm going to get them to you this year. I promise. Yeah.
I'm back on the Glencairn.
He's going to use a Glencairn. That's cool. The Stasso. This one is the wide mouth for mezcal. For the sake of transparency, local is, they're calling it Augustifolia, but it is espadín. That's what Augustifolia is. They normally use that terminology when we talk about Bacanora, which is another different type of mezcal that Felipe and I have had before. But it's clear, it's beautiful. My lighting here is the greatest, but it's shiny, man. It's really pretty. I'm not sure if people can see that on the camera.
I've only got a light bulb as it's coming up 9 p.m. but
yeah,
it's still clear, still looking good.
Yeah. Oh, the legs and tears. Now look at that. It's finally starting to tear down. And I like that they're not runny. They are clinging to the glass, which tells me that the structure and maybe the mouthfeel is going to be very decent. What are we getting on the nose? Oh, wow.
Oh, that's good, isn't it, man?
That's just all plant. That's all plant.
Oh, that doesn't smell like a mezcal.
No, there's no smoke in there, correct?
No.
Yeah.
No, nothing.
And there's nothing there. Even in the center, there's no alcohol either. This is to let you folks know, it's coming in as a 42 ABV, which is just a hair above what I consider a gateway. It's not at 40 ABV, but at 42, it'll tend to have a little bit more character depending on the hand of the maker. Wow.
I'm impressed with that.
That's just green. That's not even like baked. And with mezcal, because they have parameters in which they can be labeled a certain type of mezcal, and the labeling here is a bit. It's just the labeling is really decent. It's nice. It's a nice, modern look to it. It is artisanal, and an artisanal mezcal, in order to be considered artisanal, can't really. It can have some metal touching it, but we don't know much about the making of this. I want to make sure that. But what I do have two things. I have coordinates. It gives you the actual coordinates of where the plants were farmed, and I believe.
Yeah.
This is also for those of you who are following. Yep. For those of you who are following mezcal and you're interested in what region, San Pablo Villa de Mitla, so Mitla, Oaxaca. So this is Oaxacan, and but I want to smell it a little bit more because they're obviously They are probably more than likely are distilling in copper pot stills, but is just
So
all.
I'm getting bit more smoke with that now. It's
Yeah,
rested. It's sat in the glass.
most mezcals. I just broke the seal on mine, as it's been sitting in our offices, my office here, for probably a couple of weeks till Felipe and I have been able to get together because of the time difference. It's only not even 1 o'clock yet here in California.
Oh,
I'm getting mint. Are you getting mint on the nose?
it's definitely. There's a lot of herb, isn't there?
Yes.
There's like sort of
Yes.
mint. I'm thinking basil or
Oh,
basil if you're
yes.
American.
Yes. That's good. Wow, man. I wasn't even getting that. I was getting more spearmint or mint, but I'll buy basil. Yeah. Wow, that's pretty.
Yeah, I'm liking that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's dive in. Let's see what we're gonna get. Mm, 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 mm,
Hey,
mm, mm. Oh, this is lovely. Wow. I'm getting mineral. I'm getting like wet cement. Mm. Oh my God. Wow. And the
hold on a
finish.
minute.
What a great finish.
That hits the back of the throat, doesn't it?
Yes.
And then just completely disappears. And there's almost like peppermint. You proper fresh breath afterwards. You can
Yeah.
don't have a chew mint before you kiss her. Not one of these bad.
Well, in Spanish, and Felipe should know this, but in Spanish, sometimes one of the phrases that people will have when you talk about mezcal is "Yo quiero un beso de mezcal." They want to kiss. They want to because you kiss mezcal. You don't slug it. In English we sip it, but I love the descriptors that they come up with it, especially from generally when people speak of mezcal. Yo quiero un beso de mezcal. So I would like a kiss of mezcal. This is beautiful.
I could get used to that, man. It's
Mm, mm, mm. Oh, I see I'm getting more of that basil you were talking about, and that's at mid palate.
yeah.
It's very gentle, but all the action happens at mid palate. There's good structure. It's a substantial mezcal, even at 42 ABV.
It's not particularly smoky for a mezcal either. Not for me.
You know,
It's they tend to be in the UK. Some of the what you can buy is um, the fact that they're smoky can be the selling point of it. Do you know? So maybe it's overbearing, but that is so slight. I could yeah, I'm quite impressed with that.
well,
It's not overbearing. It's not too much. It's not heavy on the chest. There's a nice, if I breathe in,
yeah, yeah. The nice warm fuzzy. The finish is really good.
that's
But
really
yeah,
smooth.
okay. Well, we let's put it this way: it's approachable. Okay, so, but yeah, I
I
mean,
like it. Yeah.
yeah, and you were right. I got at mid palate, it's substantial. There's the herbaceousness tends to accumulate for me at mid palate, and like he said, the finishes. I mean, there's no bitterness going down
Ah,
at all, and it's what else too? It's not very aggressive. Some tequilas, we've had at the entry, it'll be a little sweet or a lot of pepper. There was hardly any pepper on this one. It was almost all herbaceousness.
yeah.
Oh, the legs and tears are beautiful. They're really clinging to the glass nicely.
It comes in. It comes in and hits the palate, hits the top of the mouth, and you get the hit of the smoke, and the initial kind of like the rough around the edges, and then it just as it goes further down the gullet, it just smooths out.
Yeah.
It's like melting ice cream. Not
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's
It's
like,
very, it's very creamy. The consistency is very creamy, and I can tell you that this whole week for me has been a tour because I started my Sunday doing raicilla, which I don't generally get too much of, and the raicilla was velvety and creamy, and this reminds me a lot of that. Probably less velvety and creamy than the raicilla that I had, but in a different way. This is extremely
what's
nice.
the drinks that you have? It's like a digestive or something that
Yes,
you
yes,
have between courses or something, just to cleanse the palate and settle the stomach. It's just,
yeah,
yeah, I could be served that in a restaurant between courses, and I'd be very happy.
yeah. Well, but this. So in other words, it's an aperitif,
Mm.
also because it'll open up the appetite as well. Um, I can tell you that after I had some of that raicilla, I was starving. So anyway, but generally that's what happens. I know with some sotols or react that way. Um, This is really gorgeous stuff, man. Local. Let's give you the ins and outs, okay? So, just for transparency's sake, for those of you who are watching us in the UK and aren't familiar with mezcal, I want to get more familiar with it. If you look at this stamp right there, that by law, by Mexican law, that has to be there before it's exported into any country, okay? And what that is a QR code, a holographic QR code that means that it has passed all the requirements to be considered mezcal by the Consejo Regulador de Mezcal, which is similar to the CRT in Mexico. It's the overseer of the procedures of Mexican mezcal, of mezcal. And if you have a QR code reader, you can snap that tag and it'll take you directly to the what is considered the database, the known database for mezcal. And so whenever you're at the store, next time we're able to go into the stores and you see this on a bottle of mezcal, go ahead and use your QR code reader. Generally speaking, you will get more information than what's on the label. As by law, they're only required to give you the minimum amount. Some of them will give you more, depending on the transparency. It'll give you the name of the maker. It'll tell you where the plants came from. This one gives you coordinates right on the label. If you see the coordinates, you can put that in Google Maps, and it'll tell you where the plants came from. I don't have it's considered artisanal, so it has to be made a certain way. I believe this is still made with a taona as well. Um, it tells you who the imported in the UK. Well, in the United States, it's World Trade Liquors. It's WTL in Laredo, Texas, which I'm familiar with, and it is from Villa de Mitla, Oaxaca. We don't have a distiller, a master distiller. I'm not sure if that's. Did you find that on the QR information?
I did look it up, and it's got uh, Leonel Hernandez Don Gil, a third generation mezcalero, produces it in San Pablo. 100% espadin, cooked underground for 3 days using an Egyptian mill, fermented in wooden vats for 10. And during the distillation process, they put a combination of fruit in apple, peach, banana, and orange are added to the still.
Oh, no kidding! For this,
Yeah.
for Local?
Yeah. Well, that's off the.
So, but it
Yeah.
doesn't. See, that's interesting because I don't. Generally speaking, that's considered a. Generally speaking, that's considered a pechuga, but it doesn't say that on the label. It doesn't say that on this label. So I would say that maybe Local has a pechuga, but they're using the same information. But we're just
Yeah, that
going
would make
with
more
what the label
sense.
says.
Well, I didn't get apple, peach, banana, or orange from that, which they
And
say that.
I've had a couple of pechugas now. I've had a few, two or three under my belt. I didn't taste that on this, but I would imagine that means that Local has a pechuga that
Yeah.
maybe we'll get lucky and get it. But this particular one, I can tell you, and Felipe will agree with me. This is not a pechuga. but I would imagine that the information is encompassing their Pechuga expression. Okay, I'm interested now. I want to see the rest of this line because if they're telling you they got a Pechuga, I want it. I want it.
There's definitely no banana in that.
Yeah, no. Some mezcals will have a banana in it. They'll because depending on what they cover it with, maybe they have like plantain leaves. Which when are cooked and baked underground will sometimes present itself in the distillation as a banana, but it's more like what they call cooking bananas. Plantains.
Yeah.
In Spanish, plátanos, which I've had a lot of since I've been here because they're readily available in Southern California. And it tends to be a staple in Central America where my folks are from. But there's no banana here. It's very herbaceous. I got some wet cement, and minimal to any smoke. So
yeah, that's a really good. I'm impressed with that.
Are we gonna nominate this as a brand of promise in the mezcal category?
I think so, just based solely on our initial reaction, because I opened this up just before we went on, so I hadn't had it before. So that the first reaction was that was the genuine thing. It was like I was not expecting it like that.
And that's why we call it
good.
sipping off the cuff. And again, Felipe to me represents a lot of what the general public is like in the UK. They have an appreciation for craft, and they want to know more, but they don't have an experience with the stuff that's coming in. And of course, COVID has kind of killed going out to mezcalerias. Going out anywhere. The UK has been hammered in the hospitality and the pubs and restaurants and bars about as bad as the United States. The US has lost $2 billion in that industry. I can only imagine what the UK has lost in that realm.
That's another video.
Yeah, that's another video. But that's our take on Local Mezcal. I want to thank the Dr. Stowers Bitters for making this happen.
Fantastic.
I do appreciate it. I thank you so much for making that happen, folks. If you're in the UK, look this up. Order it if you can order online from your local wine store, liquor store, or delivery area. I know it's going to be difficult to find, but look for it. Local. It's local. Okay, folks. And it's a 42 ABV. It's a great entry for those of you looking for more mezcal. But that's our take on Local. I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. That gentleman out there is
Felipe Tejeda.
And you're where? You're where? Located where?
Where am I?
He's in the UK. He's in England somewhere in the countryside.
I am Essex.
He's
Essex. Essex, mate.
We call it the Area 51 of mezcal. And you've been watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. Follow Felipe on Instagram. He has a beautiful Instagram. Great guy. You'll be hearing more and more from him this year in 2021. He's going to help us write a book, folks. Guess what? Wait till we tell you about that one. Follow us on all of our channels, Pinterest, Facebook, YouTube. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell, give this video a like, and hey, man, whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely, my friends.